Horror, as we know it, is full of tropes, full of, familiar and beloved iconography. Over here on internet horror, some of my favorite recurring things are religious horror, spooky, scary faces that I call analog horror scary faces, creatures in the woods. Like, this is stuff that we love. But one thing that horror on the whole has done to death that I haven't really seen in internet horror is the clown. Well, I'm here to change that for you all with the Sundown Clown. Hello, my name is GlitchWitch.JPG. I make videos about internet horror, analog horror, digital horror, creepypasta, ARGs, internet urban legends, and sometimes I talk about movies and video games. But today, I'm back in my beloved analog horror. It's been so long. The fact that I'm so internet brain rotted that I can't say the phrase "it's been so long" without thinking about that Five Nights at Freddy's song says a lot. But anyway, my cat is being naughty.
I'm on camera one more time.
Walter.
It's probably really out of focus.
It's still Walter. I haven't talked about analog horror in a good minute, and it's one of my favorite things to talk about on this channel. Analog horror has definitely evolved and changed since its inception, but rarely these days do you find like a literal dictionary definition analog horror series, meaning shot on analog technology. One of my all-time favorites is the McKinney Family Home Videos, which is very like actual capital A, capital H analog horror. I have it here on a VHS that was put out by Retro Release Video. They put out a lot of analog horror, internet horror stuff on VHS. I have several here. We're talking about VHS a lot today. That's why I have my stack of some of my favorites. I have more than this, but these are some of my favorites. When I saw the McKinney Family Home Videos, gosh, it had to be over a year ago now at this point. It was sometime like summer or spring of 2024, I was like shocked. Like it was a huge moment for me, because I'd just never seen such good, like true analog horror, found footage, shot on video that still had that essence of like what makes internet horror juicy. I have a personal stake in McKinney Family Home Videos. I designed this packaging, and I've done a lot of art for McKinney Family Home Videos, and Nick Catrufo, the director, has become a friend of mine, which is great. Literally just because I found the series. Someone suggested the series to me online. But I haven't had a series like that that really captured just the beauty of the VHS tape until I found Vertical Hellscan's Sundown Clown. So I got the video Intruder, which I believe is chronologically the second video in this series, suggested to me on my homepage probably months ago at this point. And something was going on. I don't know if it was like the Ash Vlogs era or something. There was something where like there was too much content that I was making for me to like sit with a series. But I saw literally just the thumbnail and said, "Watch later, bitch," because it's such a captivating image. Y'all know I love an analog horror scary face. I love a spooky, scary, weird, uncanny valley face. And that is what the Intruder thumbnail was giving me. So it sat in my watch later for a long time because honestly this year has been nuts. Either personally for me, I haven't been able to make a lot of videos, or in, analog horror, internet horror, like news with, movies like Bring Her Back and its connections to Ash Vlogs and Rucka Rucka and the new ARG that went with that, and then Shelby Oaks. I'm finally out of the Shelby Oaks hole, I guess you could say. I'm out of the woods with that. So I finally have time to sit and give this series, the love and the attention I wanted to give it. So I went and I watched all of Vertical Hellscan's Sundown Clown series, which is his main series. I was blown away. Like, it was a McKinney Family Home Videos moment for me. I was sitting on my couch watching it while my husband was playing a video game, which I think is literally the same thing that happened when I first saw McKinney. And I just kept saying, like, oh my God, wow. Not necessarily even like, oh, this is the scariest thing I've ever seen, but just like, I was so incredibly impressed with the quality that it was just like shocking to me. It was so cool. So the thing about this series is it is criminally underrated. It is very rare that I come to you guys with more a higher subscriber count than the series that I'm covering, because I'm a decently small channel. Vertical Health Scan is criminally underrated. Vertical Health Scan should be doing, I mean, hundreds of thousands of subscribers and views the way that series like Mandela Catalog and Walton Files and Gemini Home Entertainment and, you know, the likes are doing, because it's just made so well, and it is such a beautiful, like, I say the phrase love letter a lot on this channel. It's because I'm a sentimental bitch. But it really is a beautiful love letter to both internet horror and like the medium of video, the medium of VHS, shot on video. So today, what I am going to do is I'm going to give you a little rundown on what happens in each of the videos, only so that you know, you can understand where I'm coming from when I talk about analysis. Before you watch the rest of my video, click off and click the link to the playlist below to watch this series in its entirety on Vertical Health Scan's channel. I will not be showing full video clips today. I will just be showing small snippets from each of the videos. Go watch it on his channel. Subscribe to him. Give him the love. Comment on his stuff. Join his Patreon. He has a Patreon. He has a Patreon. I became a patron a few days ago when I was deep diving on this. Give him all the love and support. I really am making this, A, because I love it and I want to talk to someone about it. B, because he needs the love and the attention and the views, because this is incredible stuff. And the stuff he's creating right now with literally a one-man team, like, I can't imagine how he could grow if he got, monetized by YouTube and got a bigger viewer base and could do merch and all that stuff that our favorite creators do, right? So please pause, go watch it. It's literally like half an hour. It's under an hour. And then come back and I'll give you a quick rundown, because I know sometimes it's hard for people to understand what exactly is happening in each video. So I can give you my interpretation of like plot-wise what's happening. And like any good internet horror series, I feel like this is very up to interpretation. It's, a little vague in the best way possible. So I'm just going to be giving you my interpretation. You may have a completely different interpretation, but I also have some, people come to me and be like, I literally didn't know what happened. So thank you for explaining it, at least from your perspective. I could jump off of that. So that's why I want to go through the series. And then I have a lot to say, both what I think this is happening in the series, but also just why this is such a compelling and incredible series. Pretty much just the gush. I'm gonna gush for probably 20 minutes when I'm done explaining this. Okay, let's go through the series chronologically. So the order in which I'm looking at these videos is the playlist uploaded by Vertical Health Scan. It's not chronological uploads, but I think a narrative structure that he has chosen. So that's what I am going off of. Again, if you haven't already, I've given you so many chances to pause, go watch it, pause and go watch it. I'm spoiling, and I want him to get the views. So go! Okay, I'm gonna start now. The first video is called Summer Hike, and this is a pretty normal kind of vlog, I guess, not in the, like, hey YouTube, what's up guys, kind of vlog, but just, home video, filming a day out in nature. From the start, I was very compelled by just the quality of video. You can tell that this is shot on video. It's shot, or at least converted to video. I'm not quite sure his process. I know that he does have multiple VHSs and he burns stuff through VHS tapes and all of that. So I'm not sure if it's shot on a digicamera originally and then turned into a tape. It is analog though. There is an analog process happening. Vertical Hellscan is clearly just someone that has an eye for photography and cinematography. This is a very rough around the edges series in that, it's a found footage video style story, but still the choices that he makes, the shots that he sets up are very compelling, but still feel found footage, which is a hard thing to do. And that's one thing that McKinney also does very well. It feels authentically found footage, but you can't look away. You're very compelled. I think that's a thing that a lot of found footage movies or series or whatever struggle with, is they think they can get away with just lazy camera work and lazy cinematography because it's found footage, but you still have to engage your audience even if it is found footage. This video, Summer Hike, establishes an MO we will later learn of our titular Sundown Clown, that he stalks his prey or his victims during the day, which is why he's called the Sundown Clown. He comes out and stalks his victims during the day and then kills them at night. I will say, because I am sure that I am not the only one, that when you heard Sundown Clown, you thought of the phrase Sundown Town, and luckily, so the Sundown Clown has nothing to do with sundown towns. I'm not the place to teach you what a sundown town is. If you're an American, I would just do a quick Google and be really upset by our country. That's what I will say. I had to address it. I'm gonna move on now. The second video is Intruder, which is that one that was originally suggested to me, that the YouTube gods bestowed in front of me, thank God. And this is a continuation, in my opinion. I think it's the same person from Summer Hike filming, and the clown is stalking him at night. And it's kind of unclear at first where he is. I personally believe that he is stuck in the clown's loop. And what do you mean, GlitchWitch, by the clown's loop? Well, we kind of find out in this video that the clown is not just some man. This is not the 2017 clown sightings. He's like a creature. He's like a thing. The word entity is thrown around later. But for some reason, our friend the clown has this ability to, like, warp space. The part where you really understand that in this video, that is also when I really was like, oh, you got the sauce, my friend, Mr. VHS. At one point, our protagonist, our vlogger, goes into the bathroom, and he's kind of like looking around. He's, doesn't know where to go. Opens the same door, and that motherfucker is outside. There is Spanish moss. There are trees. It is night. It is scary. It is executed flawlessly. The editing on that is so good. It freaked me out in my favorite type of horror, which is that bone-chilling, unknown, just sense of dread, which I love. And this has been confirmed by Vertical Hellscan. I'm gonna go ahead and read this. I found this comment, and I will say this kind of spoiled any outside the bounds analysis I could have had, but I will say I did have some interpretations that I'll share with you at the end that clearly are not the intention, but it's worth sharing. But there was a Reddit post, and I think it was r/analog horror, saying like, who's the most evil analog horror villain? And of course everyone's saying Gabriel, everyone's saying the painter, which, I mean, true. Vertical Hellscan commented and said, quote, "The villain from my series on the Vertical Hellscan channel, the Sundown Clown, stalks its victims during the day and then attacks them at night. It doesn't just kill them right away, but instead entraps them within a pocket dimension consisting of labyrinthian mazes and looping hallways where it can chase them around, playing with its food. The victims are driven crazy by this experience, and once they've reached maximum fear, the clown brutally stabs them to death. That's rather evil. Yes, it is. He confirmed himself that the clown, you know, kind of traps them in his own little hell. I think that this location in Intruder is this clown's dimension. And one of the main criticisms I've seen in like YouTube comments and stuff of this, specifically just this video, is that the cameraman is moving with zero sense of urgency. Like, wouldn't you be running from your life? You're being stalked by a killer clown. My counter argument to that is if he woke up in a place he's never been before, realistically, truthfully, he probably thinks he's dreaming. Wouldn't you think you were dreaming? That's one of my scariest, most recurring dreams, is waking up in my grandma's old house and going into a room that doesn't actually exist. I don't want to think about it for too long. It really makes me uncomfortable. That's why Skinamarink, I have so many props today. That's why Skinamarink really gets me. Even if he doesn't think it's a dream, if he doesn't know where he's going, he's probably not going to run around like a madman and alert the clown. He's probably going to try to slowly figure out where are the exits, where can I go. So, not too much on my cameraman, okay? We don't know how he'd react in that situation. Running and screaming isn't always the right answer. The clown ends up claiming his victim, and the video ends with shots that were taken earlier, like with flash for the cameraman to try to see what was going on, where you can see the clown coming out. And we also get a time period, 2008. So this is set in 2008, kind of a weird transitory period as far as like technology goes. Like I feel like 2008 sounds about right, that I was like starting to get more DVDs, but I still had a VHS player. It feels right to me. I don't know. Might be a little late. No, that was probably right about when I had both still. So 2008. The next video is called Secret Graveyard. And this is another daytime video, but this is where we have a big pivot. This is now from the clown's point of view. The clown is controlling the camera. He is a filmmaker now. I think this is like the clown's way of like, I'm going to take the camera and just keep filming like he was. He's continuing the home video or the vlog. And I really like this video because we see the same locations from the Intruder video, like this like slatted weird hole in the ground that I think is the titular secret graveyard. It's cool to see and like establish a physical setting. A lot of times in analog horror, we don't get the pleasure of a physical setting that returns over and over again because it's usually not real. Like a lot of times they are animated, or it's just JPEGs or something like that, which is fine and dandy. You know, y'all know me, y'all know I love a scary JPEG, and y'all know I love a render. But it is always cool when you have this like physical location, and it's cool to see it so quickly at night versus in the daytime, and it's honestly very upsetting and scary either way. And I caught a little secret message when the clown drags the body into the, you know, under the slats and stuff. There's a like tape glitch, and it says you can sleep here too. So this is my time to cut in with a theory that I have, because I don't want to save it for the ends. I think it will enrich your experience as you continue with me here. I think that the clown has some sort of Slenderman technology glitchy power. I think he has the ability to mess with the tapes. I think that he can insert these little messages like that. I think that when he gets really excited or about to kill, a lot of times the tapes will get a lot fuzzier and kind of freak out. So I do kind of think that, I don't know, him or his energy, because he's not quite of this world, has an effect on the technology, which I always love that. I think that's a really fun thing to play with. It's something I love about like the Mandela catalog. And I think that, you know, it's smart because then you're playing with the medium, right? So the next one is the Sundown Clown PSA, which really just affirms all the lore that, we know now because I read you that little blurb, but that, the Sundown Clown has been sighted around town. He's seen stalking people during the day, and then usually those people will disappear because he comes and kills them or kidnaps them and traps them at night. And I think this is fun because it's kind of like the mandatory PSA news, informational tape, what have you, video that I feel like at this point is like old hat in analog horror. Like, frankly, he didn't need to make this video, but I feel like it's kind of a fun tongue-in-cheek way to be like, hey, analog horror, I'm here, text on a screen. When really he's kind of far beyond text on a screen, if you know what I mean. And that's not me knocking text on a screen. Y'all know I love text on a screen. I keep giving it to me. I also think this is like a good trailer for this series. Like, I think this could act as a trailer for the series and give you an idea of what it is while remaining, in the universe. And I wonder, I think that Mr. Vertical Hellscan is a big fan of Mr. John Carpenter's Halloween. And I wonder if the, Shamrock News or Shamrock 4 News is any riff on Silver Shamrock from Halloween 3. Halloween 3 is my favorite Halloween movie. I love Halloween 3. That's the one that doesn't have Michael Myers in it. It's so good. So I Vertical Hellscan, if you're watching this, can you tell me if that was a Silver Shamrock reference? Anyway, on to maybe the best analog horror video I've seen in a long time. I don't know. This is a top 5 period for me. God, I should do a ranking of individual videos, not series, but individual videos. Urbex. I just have to sit with it for a moment, okay? I just have to sit with it for a moment. This video is so good, guys. We're introduced to a new character. At least that's how I view it. I view, we're so far we've had home video guy, vlogger, he got killed, clown takes over, and now then we had the PSA, we're kind of resetting, and we have I'm going to call him the Urban Explorer. This video opens with an urban explorer taking single shot, pictures of a abandoned urban location. And I think it's really cool. I think urban exploration is such a huge subset of YouTube. There's a huge urban exploration community on YouTube. I feel like urban exploration and the horror side of YouTube definitely cross paths a lot. You get your classic, scary YouTube creators like Top 15s and Chills, who is the same man, would definitely cover, top 15 scariest urban explorations gone wrong and stuff like that. So I think it's smart. I think it's another way to buy into what's hot on YouTube kind of thing. I'm a sucker for urban exploration and internet horror. I think it's an underutilized jumping off point, frankly. I'm originally, if you're not familiar with my channel, I'm originally from Metro Detroit. So I'm just very familiar with urban decay and abandoned buildings and the lot. I live in rural Georgia now, so we have a lot more rural decay down here, which is a very different vibe from urban decay. But anyway, I like to go to urban exploration and my internet horror. Why not? Why not? There should be more. I'm gonna look up Urbex creepypastas. I'm sure there are some that I have not read. I'm intrigued now. It's gonna be on my head. But anyway, as our friend the Urban Explorer is urban exploring, we start to see pictures of the secret graveyard location with the wooden slats and the stone steps and the bag, in the hole. So that's cool. That's such a fun way to be oh no, it's it's the bad place. He's been sucked into the clown's dimension already. That's how I feel. Once you're seeing that secret graveyard, it ain't looking too good, folks. And this victim behaves in a completely different way than the initial one that I think makes sense for his character. So in this case, we have an urban explorer who is used to going to abandoned places, maybe running into sketchy people, maybe running into wild animals, maybe running into the police. He is going to get them out of there as quickly as possible. It's not so much about oh, I hope he doesn't find me. He's assuming, this is my cat Eileen. Hi, Eileen. He's assuming, you know, I've been seen, I need to just get the out of here. So it makes sense to me that he is just running. Like, it fits this person's experience more. Eileen, okay, no tail on the I'm gonna have to hold this now because her tail's gonna flap it. You know, he could, even when he sees the clown, why wouldn't he just think, like, this is some freak that lives in this abandoned place and he's f***ing with me? So I get it. It makes sense to me. The sequence of the clown chasing this man down is so cool because it's done, it's all stop motion photography and it looks so cool. The music is awesome. He does his own music, by the way. The entire soundtrack to this entire series is him, which is incredible. It's some of the best internet horror music I've personally heard. And I made a whole video about internet horror music like 2 years ago at this point. You should check it out. But I would, if I did a part 2, I would absolutely talk about Vertical Hellscam because my man knows how to make a damn beat. Like a beat too. Like, I want to, you know, bump this shit at the club. It's not just ambient music. This stop motion style is so cool to me, and I just love the format shift and the experimentation with it. So once he falls into the like secret graveyard hole, it switches to just traditional found footage, and he walks from the hole, the secret graveyard, into the house, and he walks into this room that's full of like tapes and equipment and this weird little shrine, and another really cool visual like format change happens where the windows, like, it's clearly nighttime. He entered this room at nighttime, but the windows, it's daylight, it's sunny, it's blue skies, and there is a sequence with these windows that I'm just going to show uninterrupted because it's just so cool. And the urban explorer makes it out of the house, and when he opens the door, it's daytime. You know, once again, showcasing how the clown has this effect. And the clown continues to pursue him, and as he swings his axe down, the explorer wakes up. It's a beautiful, like, sunrise, and the axe is next to him. He freaks out and flees, drops the camera. You kind of think it's over, but then the clown does a very clown-like movement. I would argue the most clown-like movement he has in the series. Waves, and the video ends, and that is Urbex, and I love that video. Oh, analog horror excellence. Next is another banger, but this one's definitely one of my favorites after like Urbex and Intruder, and that is Walking the Dog, which is chronologically the most recent one. It was uploaded like last month. In this one, we meet a painfully millennial man. I'm so sorry, but oh my god.
Hey, kiddo. Do you want to be a famous dog on the internet? Do you want to be a famous dog? Okay, let's go for a walk. Let's go for a freaking walk. Okay, baby dude, are you ready? Let's go.
Oh my god, the way that this guy talks is the scariest part of the video to me. He wants to film him taking his dog for a walk around Halloween and check out all the Halloween decor around the neighborhood. He lives with his mom and his dog, who has a name, but he calls him Baby Dude, and so for the rest of this video, I'm calling the dog Baby Dude, because I do think that's funny. That is the little, I'm a millennial Gen Z cusp, so there are certain, like, millennial phrases that do have, like, a Pavlovian effect on me and activate something in me, and Baby Dude's one of them. I don't know what to say. Calling an animal Baby Dude. A ton of the houses are decorated to a point where I view that as an anomaly potentially caused by the clown, and maybe Vertical Hellscan just lives in a cool neighborhood and I live in a pussy-ass bitch neighborhood that doesn't decorate for Halloween except for me and my across-the-street neighbor who go way too hard. I don't go way too hard, she does, and I wish I was like her, but she's also much older than me and has had time to accumulate. But, you know, I do my best. I digress. Anyway, I kind of was like, maybe this guy really likes Halloween and the clown's trying to be like, Halloween, go into one of these houses so that I can axe you to death. I don't know. But it really could have just been a cool neighborhood. And it's a very normal video. As much as I'm clowning, as much as I'm, you know, bullying this hardcore millennial man, it feels very authentic. Especially if this is supposed to be like 2008. It's nail on the head. And when he returns back to his house with Baby Dude, the door is open. And there is an energy shift, like an immediate energy shift when he approaches the door that really, like, chilled me. It really made me uncomfortable, and it felt real, because there are always those points in life where you know something is wrong and there's nothing you can do about it. I've had that happen to me, unfortunately, a lot this year. Not because of home invasion, for other reasons. It's awful, and it kind of consumes you. And this captured that feeling in a 1 second, just, I don't even know. It was a mood. It was a complete energy shift that I think it's really impressive to be able to capture that in such a short form video.
More purple webs. I'm not complaining though. Ooh, let's go home. Let's get home. What? Oh my God. Mom?
Baby Dude's dad walks in to the house and the camera glitches and the millennial man finds himself in the secret graveyard. Once again, we're back at that location. We're in Clown Town, bitch. And unfortunately, Baby Dude is missing. I hope that he got away. I hope the clown doesn't want to mess with dogs, but, you know, you never know. And the secret graveyard leads into the clown's house. At least that's what I'm calling this location. I'm calling it the clown's house. The clown appears and stabs him with like a turkey fork. I don't know what else to call it. Maybe I just have Thanksgiving on the brain. I'm recording this the Friday before Thanksgiving. Bro drops the camera and he tries to crawl away, and there's like a blood streak, and it's really sad and gross and creepy. And the clown just shows that damn fork covered in blood, and you assume he's gonna go finish the job. And that's the end of walking the dog. So that is Sundown Clown by Vertical Hellscan as of, you know, November, end of November 2025. I have a feeling he's gonna continue it, considering that Walking the Dog came out like a few weeks ago. It's a very recent video. But, you know, let's just chit-chat about what I think is going on here. Initially, when I was watching this before I got to the Shamrock 4 PSA video and also read Vertical Hellscan's Reddit comment, I kind of thought that maybe, like, the person filming and the clown were, like, one and the same, and the clown was, like, you know, this latent evil person inside of the person filming, which is cornier than what's actually happening, so be thankful that I'm wrong. But I think the reason, and corny is, like, a key word here, I kind of thought, like, it was giving me, once I saw it was 2008, I'm like, okay, this is like a corny emo kid that wants to be like a tough guy. And then maybe it goes too far and he actually kills someone. That was kind of what I was getting. Because a lot of the shots, when it's like just the clown with the axe, like it lingers on it, it makes me think of those specific pictures of Mr. Corny but then dangerous himself, Varg Vikernes, with the weapons in the Helvet basement. If you're not familiar with who Varg Vikernes is, maybe just click off so you don't have to know. I'm sorry to be the one to ruin your day. He was a musician. I guess he still is. I don't know. He was a musician in the 90s. He put out music under the name Burzum, but he was part of Mayhem. And he notoriously was one of the big Norwegian church burners. And he took the life of his bandmate, Euronymous, and is just an all-around shitbag, piece of shit, garbage, edgelord, doofus boy. And his YouTube got banned, so he can't find me on here. He's just on Twitter. But anyway, very, and I'm not dissing the clown. I'm just saying there's something about a tall, skinny, posed up with a weapon that makes me go, oh no. Corny alert. But anyway, I'm not talking shit about the clown. Please do not. Vertical Hellscan, if you're watching, I'm not talking shit about your clown. I like what the actual plot is much better. I like that it's exploring liminality. I like that he's kind of a creature. The whole clowns are creatures thing is not an unexplored territory. I think they're very just an uncanny, weird thing, and that's why they scare a lot of people. But you have Pennywise, he chooses to take the form of a clown. He's not just a clown, which I think the new It show, the It Welcome to Derry, is exploring. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard that Pennywise is taking a lot more forms than just the clown. And yes, I do have a feeling that's because Andy Muschietti thought that he wasn't going to get Bill Skarsgård at first, so he wrote around it, but then Bill Skarsgård said yes. But then he wrote some good stuff, so he kept it in it. That's my theory, at least. Sorry to Matt Pat, you bitches. I think even, your Art the Clown is another kind of example of that. So this idea of, the Sundown Clown is, he's a creature. He's not a guy. And perhaps all clowns are like this. I don't know. I will say, I'll admit it, right here before God, before Vertical Hellscan, before the Sundown Clown, before YouTube, I don't really care. I don't like clowns. I'm not scared. I say that looking like this, I know. I'm not scared of clowns. I kind of just don't care. So when I went to this initially and saw that the series was called The Sundown Clown, I went, oh, okay, I'll watch it anyway. And here's what I realized. I don't like when the whole damn shtick is the clown. I don't hate it. I, like many people, struggle with Stephen King's It because the first half is really cool and then the second half's a mess. Because, I don't know, he got worse cocaine or something and they didn't know what to do in the second half. I'm not mad at that one. Y'all already know. I've said it too many times at this point. People are going to start getting mad at me. But also, public favor is absolutely turning on the mother that made him. I don't like Art the Clown. I don't like Terrifier. You know what? Don't like is a generous word. I hate the Terrifier movies. I think that David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, is a very talented actor. I think the work he has done as Art the Clown is really good. I think he has great charisma. He has great physicality and performance. Art the Clown is kind of cool despite the movies around him. Like, I hate those movies. I think they're kind of garbage. Not for me. I'm kind of over clowns. I'm over it. The clown scare in 2017. It was just too much. I'm a big Halloween Horror Nights fan. Jack the Clown. We get it. Clowns. Everything. Clowns. The whole thing, I think, that bothers me when it's like, and there's a circus and there's a horn and it's the whole thing and there's balloons. The Sundown Clown is just a scary guy with an axe that happens to have a clown face. It does not rely on clown things, and I like that. There's certain little things, like when the hand pops up, that I think is very, whimsical, and I'm okay with that. But this is good clown. me like this clown. I like this clown. I really do. And I think it's cool, A, that internet horror hasn't overdone the clown. The only other clown I can think of is like the Walton Files has the one clown, but that's fine. That's one clown amongst a bunch of other stuff. And B, that this gets to be our clown. This is our killer clown. How honored are we in this subgenre to have such a good killer clown? I love him. He's just a dude that can control liminal space and time. So, you know, I don't want to fuck with him, but like, I'd shoot the shit with him, to be perfectly honest. I quite like him. I love the visual. You know, it's a good analog horror scary face. I think that clowns scare people the same reason that mannequins do, and you know, dead bodies do, because it's that uncanny valley, right? It's like humanoid, but something's off. And so a clown makes perfect sense for an analog horror scary face. So welcome Sundown Clown into Analog Horror Scary Face Hall of Fame. I induct thee. Congratulations. I mentioned the, like, liminality, right? Earlier when I was talking specifically in Intruder about, you know, how the bathroom opens up into the outdoors. I think that's really the most compelling example of it, but the series is full of it. The way that you kind of effortlessly transition from, you know, the secret graveyard into the house, or nighttime to daytime, or, you know, the windows and things like that. It's really cool. And, you know, liminality is big on the internet. We love our liminal spaces, we love our back rooms, we love our pool rooms. It's an overused word at this point. But the way that Vertical Health Scan handles liminality, I think is very unique and very interesting. I think that the confusion that comes with liminal spaces is often underemphasized in a lot of our favorite liminal horror. Like in the back rooms and stuff, obviously there's a maze, but it's almost, the confusingness of it is kind of put on the back burner to me for like the vastness of it. It feels so big, and that's what's scary. I think that the maze and kind of looping way that the clown world is in this really hits the nail on the head on the confusion and, you know, this should be here, it's not there anymore, I turned around and that door leads to this and to that. That is almost like, it's like a claustrophobic liminality, whereas a lot of, you know, internet's favorite liminal spaces are very open and large. This is very contained and small, and I just think it's cool. I think it's a different way to look at liminal horror. I think as well, I always say if you can do daytime horror, I think that's really cool. You know, and I like this because it deals with both, you know, the being stalked in the daytime, not feeling safe in the daytime, but it still carries into night with that primal fear of the dark and of night that we all have. So I like that it plays with both. I think you have to be a really talented horror filmmaker to be able to make both scary in the same narrative form, right? A lot of stories deal with, oh, you're safe during the day, or oh, you're safe at night. So to have it be the full 24-hour cycle, it's done really well. As far as like the narrative goes, I think it's pretty straightforward, but there is one element that I want to just kind of discuss that I think is really cool, and it's this format of the clown taking over part of the series, right? And it's pretty rare to get the POV of a killer in horror. It happens, don't get me wrong. It's not unheard of, and I think it's happened more as the years go by. But the movie that I always think of when I think of killer POV is a French film called Man Bites Dog, where a serial killer essentially hires a cameraman to follow him around, and it's like a mockumentary. It's not even found footage. It's just straight up, he's making a documentary. And it's funny, and it's bleak, and it's gross. It's a crazy movie. If you've never seen Man Bites Dog, Definitely check it out if you're into found footage and mockumentary and all that, but I mean, it's dark, I'm gonna warn you. As well as a more modern example, Creep. Can I spoil Creep? I'm gonna spoil Creep for you. It came out over a decade ago now, I think we're safe, and there's a TV show that the mere existence of the TV show, I think, spoils the film, so I think I'm safe. The Mark Duplass character, the serial killer, he doesn't film them himself, he finds people to film them for him, which the clown is kind of doing. He's like seeking out, you know, he likes the vlogger, so he goes with the vlogger, but then, like, maybe that was the first time he ever experienced someone with a camera, so now he's gonna keep his eye out for people who always have their cameras out, which in 2008 is gonna become more and more common, right? So then he goes for the urban explorer. Then he goes for, you know, the vlogger guy walking his dog. So I think that, you know, it is kind of like Creep in that sense. It's kind of like both. I noticed that, like, he's just kind of filming. There's not, like, a specific perspective. There's not, like, an intention to get specific shots or anything. And I say that just because, like, historically, if you look at real-life serial killers, some of them were very meticulous about the photographs they took, the videos they took, the audio they took. And he's not like that. And the reason that I say this, and the reason that I point this out, is because I love this idea that, you know, this clown is a creature. He is not a human. He does not necessarily understand human ways. And he sees the camera, this foreign weird thing, and he's just kind of endeared by it. So he starts using it, or starts stalking people who do use it. And, you know, the whole scene in Urbex where you see his room with the, you know, the setup, which I think is literally Vertical Hellscan's setup, and it literally does say Vertical Hellscan, so I think it's literally his setup. It's this idea that the clown has a hobby. He's fiddling with tapes. He's trying to understand these cameras and what he can do with them and the effect that he has on them. And, you know, it allows for this series to be experimental and be kind of weird, because you can do anything to a tape when it's being affected by an otherworldly creature, right? And it still feels in universe. I like this because, in a weird kind of meta way, the clown acts as a stand-in for a specific generation of younger VHS and analog tech enjoyers. I don't know how old Vertical Hellscan is, so this very much may be literally me projecting. I'm in my late 20s. I grew up with VHS tapes. You know, I had all the Disney movies on VHS, but I didn't have a lot of experience shooting it myself. I didn't have a lot of experience, you know, shooting home videos myself. Like, they were there, I know how to use a VHS player, but then there was this large chunk of time where they were gone. And now, as an adult with money and, you know, I can do whatever I want, I have a VHS player. I have a VHS collection. You know, we're putting YouTube videos on VHS tapes just because we want to have that physical media again. And I think that this idea of, you know, it should be foreign to us. It should not draw us in or be alluring to us, but we are drawn to it for some inexplicable reason, whether it's nostalgia, whether it's just a desire to, you know, hold something, because everything is online, everything is, you know, the cloud. We are like the clown in that way. It feels like a very sweet representation of just analog tech love, you know, the appreciation for it, what you can do with it, how you can experiment with it. And I think that that's why this series stands out to me so much. You can tell this creator is in it for the love of the game. He loves the technology, still clearly loves the analog horror community on the internet, engages with his community. And I think that he needs to be a big part of this community. Like, I think we need to talk about this series the way we talk about other big internet horror stuff, be it analog horror, be it ARGs, be it creepypasta. This fits right in to that sweet, sweet stuff we love. And it's just so well made. Like, it's just great found footage. It's not literal, you know, canon found footage, because there's a soundtrack and there's stop motion and there's different things and there's whatever. I don't need it to be, because it's fantastical. There is a magical multi-dimensional clown that creates liminal pocket dimensions and stalks and kidnaps people. It's okay that there's a soundtrack. Some people are purists. I am not. I think when, you know, something is realistically found footage, that's awesome. That's great for that. This doesn't need to be, and it is better for all of the elements that make it not, you know, textbook found footage. I just think it's really well shot. It feels, if you're familiar with the, you know, the phenomenon of shot on video movies, they were shot on videotapes. The one that I always think of is a movie called Sledgehammer. If you love this kind of stuff, please check out Sledgehammer. It is such a fun movie. And this has a very similar quality to Sledgehammer. I thought it myself. I told Nick Catrufo of McKinney to check this out because I knew he would love it, and he said the same thing. It made him think of Sledgehammer. So it's just cool that, you know, the spirit of shot on video is still living through on YouTube videos. The avenue for these things being seen changes, but the text stays the same, right? It's just really cool. They're edited really well. That stop motion sequence is just incredible. It's some of the best stuff I don't know, maybe it may not be as cool to you as it is to me, but that just really scratches my brain. And the music is incredible, and again, he does it, he composes it himself. He, you know, remixes it himself. Incredible talent. I cannot urge you enough. Go subscribe to Vertical Hell Scan. See what LT has in store. Join his Patreon. Get, you know, behind the scenes. He's also a bit like an artist. He paints, and those are really cool as well. I'm hooked. I'm 100% a fan. I will be watching whatever this guy does like a hawk. I'm ready for the next one. Take your time. I'm not rushing you, but I will be here when the next Vertical Hell Scan video drops, whether it's Sundown Clown or something else. I'm sold. I am invested. And I hope that he continues to, you know, be seen by more people, because this is just analog horror goodness. And a lot of people say analog horror is dead. Baby, look at the material. It is alive and well. And I would love to see someone like Retro Release or Lunch Meat or whoever put out this series on VHS. I talk about Retro Release a lot. I don't want anyone to think that I'm like sponsored by them. I'm not. I've paid for all of my Retro Release out of pocket. I just like what they're doing because they put out internet horror projects on tape. I have the McKinney. I have Mandela 1. I pre-ordered. They did Mandela 3. They skipped 2. Not mad, in my personal opinion. Return of the Pumpkin Rabbit, which is Walton Files spinoff. I watched this on Halloween with my friends. It was so much fun. It's like, it felt like watching like adult Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. And then they did Alan Tutorial, which is really cool as well, because that's almost like more unfiction than these are more like analog horror. And they've done some other ones too. They did Angel Hair. They did Harmony and Horror. So Retro Release, if you're watching, divas, I don't know that you are. You need to get on the Sundown Clown. He's cool as hell. Again, please, if you do anything after watching this video, subscribe to Vertical Hell Scan. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all that stuff. Please. He deserves it. Thank you for watching, though. I'd like to thank my YouTube members. They're up on screen. And then in the Creepypasta OCs are up on screen. And then in Survival Horror Emo, we have E-Robin So-Called Punk. And then in Analog Horror Scary Face, we have Kira Coffer, Alvakin, and Charlotte Sabina. If you would like to become a member, there's a little join button down below. But liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing means the world. And it would also mean the world if you directed that over to Vertical Hell Scan rather than me this time. Watch out for the Sundown Clown. I'd like to think that maybe I get a pass. I put my clown drag on. You know, maybe he'll think I'm from the same genus as him, and he'll cut me some slack, and he'll see my big VHS collection, and, you know, maybe we could just clown around, hang out. No axes, no turkey knives, turkey forks. Can we have an understanding, Mr. Sundown Clown? Thank you. Bye.